Welcome to the audiobook When Money Becomes the Master. Truth Silenced by Wealth, brought to you by Rusli Wehamat. This audiobook explores one of humanity's most complex relationships, the bond between wealth and morality. It dives deep into the ways money influences society, challenges ethics, and often muffles the voices of truth and justice. Through 10 thoughtfully crafted chapters, this audiobook takes you on a journey of reflection and understanding, blending philosophical insights, real-world examples, and actionable solutions. It challenges listeners to question whether money should serve as a tool or rule as a master in our lives. This is not just a narration of words, but a call to action for anyone who values integrity, fairness, and the courage to stand up for what is right. So, whether you're listening on your morning commute, during quiet moments at home, or as part of your daily inspiration, we invite you to absorb these ideas with an open heart and a critical mind. Let this audiobook be your companion as we explore how humanity can reclaim its moral compass in a world increasingly dominated by materialism. Now, let's embark on this enlightening journey together. Chapter 1. The Power of Money. The Hidden Truths. Money is a force that shapes our lives, our communities, and the decisions we make, often in ways we fail to recognize. It infiltrates every corner of human existence, our aspirations, relationships, and even our sense of self-worth. Yet, despite its omnipresence, the influence of money often remains shrouded in secrecy, cloaking the truths about its true power and its ability to sway morality. In this chapter, we delve into how money affects our daily lives and society at large. From the workplace to the political arena, money drives ambitions, policies, and outcomes, frequently leaving justice and fairness as mere afterthoughts. Governments and corporations alike often prioritize monetary gain over human dignity, perpetuating inequality and creating a system where wealth equates to power. Consider, for example, the disproportionate influence of the wealthy on public policy. Campaign financing, lobbying, and corporate interests frequently dictate legislation, leaving the needs of ordinary citizens unheard. Similarly, the consumer culture perpetuated by capitalism pushes individuals to chase material success, often at the expense of their mental health and personal relationships. But why does this happen? The answer lies in the deep psychological and social grip money holds. For many, money is not merely a tool for survival, but a symbol of status, security, and success. This societal obsession leads to decisions driven by greed rather than necessity, distorting the very fabric of our shared humanity. The truth is clear. While money has the potential to be a neutral force, a mere medium of exchange, it often becomes a tool of oppression, silencing the voices of the vulnerable and empowering the already powerful. As we continue this journey, let us reflect on the role of money in our lives and question whether it serves as a tool of convenience or a master dictating our choices. Only by acknowledging its hidden truths can we begin to reclaim the balance between human values and material wealth. Chapter 2. Money, Servant or Master. For centuries, philosophers and thinkers have grappled with a question that remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. Is money meant to serve humanity, or has it become our master? Aristotle, one of history's greatest philosophers, believed that money should be a tool for facilitating exchange and promoting human flourishing. Yet, in the modern world, this ideal often seems far from reality. In Aristotle's view, the natural purpose of money is to support trade and ensure that people's needs are met fairly and efficiently. Money, he argued, should never be an end in itself. Accumulating wealth for the sake of wealth, he believed, was unnatural and harmful to both individuals and society. This perspective challenges us to consider whether we are using money ethically or allowing it to dictate our values and priorities. The shift from money as a servant to money as a master often begins subtly. At first, it might be the desire for financial security or the pursuit of a better lifestyle. However, when wealth becomes the ultimate goal, it can overshadow principles like compassion, honesty, and justice. This distortion leads to a world where profit takes precedence over people, and ethical boundaries are often ignored in the name of success. The ethical use of money requires balance. It demands that we view money as a means to improve lives, support communities, and build a better future, not as a measure of worth or power. Yet, achieving this balance is easier said than done in a society that glorifies wealth and equates financial success with personal achievement. Aristotle's wisdom invites us to rethink our relationship with money. Are we using it to create opportunities and foster well-being, or are we trapped in a cycle of endless accumulation and consumption? As you reflect on this chapter, consider your own perspective. Is money your servant, enabling you to live with purpose and integrity? Or has it become your master, dictating your choices and shaping your values? The answer may hold the key to reclaiming a more ethical and fulfilling approach to wealth. Chapter 3. When morality faces greed. Greed, a force as ancient as humanity itself, has the power to corrupt even the strongest moral compass. When money becomes the ultimate pursuit, moral values are often sacrificed, leading to decisions that prioritize wealth over integrity. This chapter delves into the delicate battle between morality and greed, a conflict that defines not just individual lives, but the very fabric of society. At its core, greed is fueled by an insatiable desire for more. More wealth, more power, more control. It often starts subtly, disguised as ambition or a quest for success. Yet, as it grows, greed can overshadow principles like honesty, fairness, and compassion. In such a state, money ceases to be a neutral tool and becomes a corrupting influence, driving unethical behavior and fostering inequality. One of the most dangerous consequences of unchecked greed is its ability to justify harmful actions. A business executive might rationalize exploiting workers for higher profits. A politician might accept bribes, claiming it's for the greater good. Individuals might cheat, lie, or manipulate, all under the pretense of achieving financial stability or success. These actions erode trust and harm the very communities that money was meant to uplift. The impact of greed extends beyond individuals to societal structures. When institutions prioritize profit over people, we see the rise of exploitative industries, environmental degradation, and systemic injustices. Decisions driven by greed often ignore the long-term consequences, focusing instead on short-term gains that benefit the few at the expense of the many. So, how can we, as individuals and societies, resist the lure of greed? It begins with self-awareness and a commitment to ethical principles. Ask yourself, are my financial goals aligned with my values? Do my decisions benefit others, or are they solely self-serving? Recognizing greed and its potential to harm is the first step toward reclaiming a more balanced and moral approach to wealth. Greed is not an inevitable outcome of ambition. When tempered with empathy, integrity, and a sense of responsibility, the pursuit of success can coexist with a strong moral foundation. By choosing values over wealth and principles over profit, we can create a world where morality triumphs over greed. Chapter 4. Real-life stories. The influence of money is not just a theoretical concept. It is vividly displayed in the real world through countless stories of justice, integrity, and morality being overshadowed by the power of wealth. This chapter explores some compelling real-life examples that illustrate how money can corrupt systems and individuals, distorting the principles of fairness and humanity. 1. A justice system at risk. Consider the case of legal systems in certain parts of the world, where wealth often determines the outcome of trials. In many instances, affluent individuals have used their financial power to hire top-tier lawyers, manipulate evidence, or even bribe judges. Meanwhile, the underprivileged, those who lack resources to defend themselves adequately, are left vulnerable, regardless of the truth. This disparity undermines public trust and turns justice into a privilege rather than a universal right. 2. Exploitation of the marginalized. In industries driven by profit, there are stories of exploited workers and communities. For example, multinational corporations have been accused of underpaying laborers in developing nations while reaping massive profits. These workers often have no choice but to accept unfair conditions, trapped in cycles of poverty, while the wealth generated from their labor enriches distant stakeholders. 3. Environmental costs of greed. Environmental degradation is another area where wealth has played a disruptive role. There are cases of corporations engaging in deforestation, illegal mining, or pollution for financial gain. Despite the harm caused to local ecosystems and communities, fines or legal loopholes often allow them to continue operations unchecked. The long-term costs are borne by the public, while the financial rewards remain concentrated among the few. 4. The media and truth. Distorted by money media manipulation is another glaring example. Wealthy individuals or corporations often fund biased narratives, ensuring their interests are protected. Investigative journalists have faced threats, censorship, or even violence when exposing corruption or unethical practices. When money dictates the flow of information, the truth becomes a casualty. 5. Stories of resistance. Amidst these tales of exploitation, there are also inspiring stories of individuals who have resisted the corrupting power of money. Whistleblowers, activists, and everyday citizens have stood firm in the face of bribery, threats, and persecution, demonstrating that integrity can prevail. These stories remind us that while wealth can corrupt, it is not all-powerful. Conclusion. These real-life examples serve as powerful reminders of the consequences of unchecked greed and the misuse of wealth. They also emphasize the need for collective vigilance, ethical leadership, and the courage to confront corruption. By learning from these stories, we can strive to create systems that prioritize fairness and justice over monetary gain. Chapter 5. Unfair Decisions. Who becomes the victim? Money, when misused, often reshapes systems that are meant to protect and serve the people. One of the most critical areas affected is the judicial system, where fairness and impartiality are supposed to prevail. However, the influence of wealth has led to numerous instances of injustice, leaving vulnerable individuals and communities as collateral damage. 1. The weight of bribery. In many societies, bribery has become an unspoken currency for power and privilege. Those with financial resources often use it to evade legal consequences, while the powerless are left to suffer. Whether it is a corrupt official who accepts bribes to ignore violations or a wealthy individual who manipulates verdicts, the result is the same. Justice becomes a commodity, available only to the highest bidder. 2. Victims of systemic inequality. Systemic inequality further compounds this issue. Marginalized groups, such as the poor minorities or those without political influence, often find themselves disproportionately affected. These individuals lack the means to fight prolonged legal battles, secure competent representation, or challenge corrupt practices. They become easy targets in a system that prioritizes wealth over truth. 3. The cost of corporate corruption. Corporate corruption also highlights the imbalance of power. Large corporations accused of environmental destruction, tax evasion, or unsafe labor practices often settle cases with minimal fines, thanks to high-paid legal teams and political connections. Meanwhile, the real victims, workers, consumers, and local communities bear the brunt of the damage with little hope of redress. 4. The human toll of injustice. Behind every unfair decision is a human story. Consider families displaced due to corrupt land deals, employees wrongfully terminated because they exposed unethical practices, or individuals imprisoned for crimes they did not commit, while the guilty walk free. The psychological and social toll of these injustices cannot be overstated, as they erode trust in institutions and perpetuate cycles of poverty and despair. 5. Small acts of resistance. Despite these challenges, there are instances where ordinary people have fought back. Grassroots movements, investigative journalism, and whistleblowers have exposed corruption and held perpetrators accountable. These stories of resistance serve as a reminder that while money can distort justice, it is not invincible. Conclusion. When money dictates the outcomes of justice, the victims are those who cannot compete in a game rigged against them. Addressing this imbalance requires systemic reforms, transparency, and collective efforts to restore fairness. By acknowledging the victims of injustice, society can begin to dismantle the structures that allow money to triumph over truth. Only then can we hope to create a world where justice is not a privilege, but a right for all. Chapter 6. Truth. A voice silenced by wealth. In a world where wealth often determines power and influence, truth frequently becomes an unfortunate casualty. Those who stand for honesty and integrity often find themselves marginalized, their voices drowned out by the noise of money and authority. This chapter explores why truth-tellers are often silenced and what it takes to amplify their voices in a society ruled by materialism. 1. The cost of speaking. The truth. Standing for truth is rarely without consequences. Whistleblowers, activists, and those who expose corruption often face severe repercussions, be it losing their jobs, reputations, or even their safety. The courage it takes to confront the powerful comes at a steep price, making it easy to understand why many choose silence over sacrifice. 2. Manipulation of public perception. Money has the power to manipulate narratives. Media outlets, often controlled by wealthy individuals or corporations, can suppress stories that expose inconvenient truths. Social media, too, is a battleground where misinformation spreads faster than facts, overshadowing the voices of those who seek to reveal reality. 3. The isolation of truth-tellers. The journey of a truth-teller is often lonely. Those who challenge the status quo are frequently ostracized, labeled as troublemakers, or dismissed as being against progress. This isolation creates a chilling effect, discouraging others from following in their footsteps and further entrenching the dominance of wealth over truth. 4. When wealth becomes a shield. Wealthy individuals and organizations often use their resources to evade accountability. Expensive legal teams, public relations campaigns, and strategic lobbying can suppress investigations and discredit critics. This misuse of power not only silences truth, but also perpetuates a culture of impunity. 5. Examples of silenced truths. History is replete with examples of individuals and movements that were suppressed for speaking out. From environmental activists fighting against corporate exploitation to journalists exposing political corruption, many have faced threats, censorship, or worse. Yet, their sacrifices have often paved the way for change, showing that truth, though silenced, can never be completely extinguished. 6. The role of collective action. While individuals may be silenced, collective action has the power to amplify their message. Movements like Me Too and campaigns against climate change have shown that when people unite for a cause, their voices can overcome the barriers created by wealth and power. Solidarity is a crucial tool in ensuring that truth prevails. Conclusion. Truth is an essential foundation for justice and progress, but it is fragile in the face of wealth and power. To protect it, society must value integrity over profit, foster transparency, and support those who dare to speak out. Though the path is fraught with challenges, the fight for truth is one that defines the very essence of humanity. Only by safeguarding it can we hope to build a world that is fair, just, and free from the tyranny of unchecked wealth. Chapter 7. Preserving Humanity in a Materialistic World. In a society increasingly dominated by the pursuit of wealth and material success, maintaining our humanity can feel like an uphill battle. Yet, it is precisely in such times that holding on to moral values, empathy, and integrity becomes most crucial. This chapter explores how individuals and communities can safeguard their humanity amidst the pressures of materialism. 1. The allure of materialism. Materialism thrives on the promise of happiness and fulfillment through possessions and wealth. Advertisements, social media, and cultural norms reinforce this idea, pushing people to equate their self-worth with their net worth. However, this relentless pursuit often leaves individuals feeling empty, disconnected, and unsatisfied. 2. The impact on relationships. When materialism takes precedence, relationships often suffer. Genuine human connections are replaced by transactional interactions, and the pursuit of personal gain can lead to neglecting family, friends, and the community. Reclaiming humanity means prioritizing love, compassion, and mutual respect over self-interest. 3. The role of empathy. Empathy is a powerful antidote to the dehumanizing effects of materialism. By putting ourselves in others' shoes, we can break free from the isolation that wealth and possessions create. Acts of kindness and understanding remind us that true richness lies in the quality of our relationships and the impact we have on others' lives. 4. Finding purpose beyond wealth. A life driven by material goals often lacks deeper meaning. To preserve our humanity, we must seek purpose beyond financial success. This might involve contributing to social causes, pursuing creative passions, or simply striving to leave the world a better place than we found it. Purpose and fulfillment stem from growth, contribution, and connection, not from accumulating wealth. 5. Cultivating contentment. Materialism feeds on dissatisfaction, convincing us that we always need more. Cultivating gratitude and contentment counters this mindset. By appreciating what we already have and recognizing the non-material blessings in our lives, we can shift our focus from consumption to conservation and from greed to generosity. 6. Building resilient communities. Communities play a vital role in fostering humanity in a materialistic world. Collaborative efforts, such as local initiatives, shared resources, and collective decision-making, can promote values of equality, fairness, and mutual support. Strong communities act as a buffer against the isolating effects of wealth-driven societies. 7. Leading by example. Change begins with individuals who choose to live by their values despite societal pressures. Leading by example, whether through ethical business practices, philanthropy, or everyday kindness, inspires others to prioritize humanity over materialism. Each person's actions create ripples that can transform entire communities. Conclusion. Preserving humanity in a materialistic world is not an easy task, but it is a necessary one. By prioritizing empathy, purpose, and community over wealth and possessions, we can create a society that values people over profit. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also contribute to a world where humanity thrives, even in the face of materialistic challenges. Chapter 8. Inspiration from Aristotle. Choosing truth over wealth. Throughout history, philosophers have wrestled with the ethical dilemmas posed by wealth and its influence on society. Among them, Aristotle remains a beacon of wisdom, offering profound insights into the nature of money, morality, and the choices we face. This chapter delves into Aristotle's philosophy, highlighting its relevance in navigating a world increasingly dominated by wealth. 1. Aristotle's view on money. Aristotle viewed money as a tool, not an end in itself. To him, wealth existed to facilitate human flourishing and the well-being of society. He believed that money should serve practical and ethical purposes, enabling individuals to lead virtuous lives. When money becomes an obsession or a measure of worth, it corrupts its original intent and leads to moral decay. 2. The pursuit of eudaimonia. Central to Aristotle's philosophy is the concept of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or the good life. For Aristotle, this state is achieved not through wealth, but through virtue, wisdom, and meaningful relationships. True happiness stems from living in harmony with one's values rather than accumulating material possessions. 3. The danger of greed. Aristotle warned against pleonexia, or the insatiable desire for more. Greed, he argued, distorts priorities, driving individuals to pursue wealth at the expense of their humanity and the well-being of others. By focusing on ethical living and moderation, one can resist the destructive pull of materialism. 4. Choosing truth over wealth. Aristotle's teachings emphasize the importance of truth and integrity. In a society where money often silences honesty and manipulates justice, adhering to truth becomes a courageous act. Aristotle believed that living virtuously, even in the face of adversity, is the highest form of human achievement. 5. Practical wisdom in everyday life. Aristotle introduced the concept of phronesis, or practical wisdom, the ability to make sound decisions guided by virtue and reason. In matters involving money, phronesis can help individuals strike a balance between fulfilling their needs and staying true to their principles. 6. Leading by ethical example. Aristotle's philosophy encourages individuals to lead by example, embodying the values they wish to see in society. Ethical leadership, whether in personal life, business, or politics, inspires others to prioritize truth and justice over personal gain. 7. The legacy of Aristotle's teachings. While centuries have passed since Aristotle shared his wisdom, his ideas remain as relevant as ever. In a world often swayed by the power of money, his philosophy serves as a reminder to anchor our lives in virtue, integrity, and the pursuit of the greater good. Conclusion. Aristotle's teachings challenge us to rise above the superficial allure of wealth and embrace a life rooted in truth, virtue, and community. By applying his timeless wisdom, we can resist the corrupting influence of money and build a world where ethical values take precedence over material success. In choosing truth over wealth, we honor not only Aristotle's legacy, but also our shared humanity. Chapter 9. Building a world where money cannot buy everything. The dominance of wealth over values has shaped societies for centuries. Yet, envisioning a world where money is not the ultimate arbiter of worth or power is not only possible, it is necessary. This chapter explores actionable ideas for constructing a society that prioritizes justice, humanity, and ethics over material wealth. 1. Redefining success. In a society where success is often equated with financial achievement, we must redefine what it means to succeed. True success lies in building meaningful relationships, contributing positively to communities, and fostering a sense of purpose. By celebrating these virtues over monetary gains, we can shift societal priorities. 2. Educating for integrity. Education plays a critical role in shaping future generations. By incorporating lessons on ethics, critical thinking, and social responsibility into curricula, we can nurture individuals who value justice over greed. Teaching students to question materialistic ideals empowers them to make principled choices. 3. Supporting fair economic systems. Economic systems must evolve to minimize inequalities and promote fairness. This includes encouraging transparent practices in businesses, strengthening regulations to prevent corruption and exploitation, promoting equitable wages and opportunities. By creating structures that reward fairness rather than greed, we can reduce the influence of wealth on societal outcomes. 4. Amplifying voices of truth. In a world where money often drowns out truth, platforms must be created to amplify the voices of those championing justice. This can be achieved through independent journalism, grassroots movements, and social networks that prioritize ethical storytelling over sensationalism. 5. Ethical leadership. Leadership grounded in integrity is essential to building a just society. Leaders in government, business, and community organizations must embody ethical values, prioritizing long-term well-being over short-term profits. By holding leaders accountable, we set a precedent for ethical governance. 6. Promoting community values. Communities have the power to resist the dominance of wealth by fostering values of compassion, cooperation, and equality. Grassroots initiatives, local support networks, and volunteer programs strengthen bonds and reduce the dependence on material wealth as a measure of success. 7. Leveraging technology for justice. Technology can be a powerful ally in creating a fairer world. Blockchain, for example, can promote transparency and reduce corruption, while artificial intelligence can aid in fairer resource distribution. However, technological advancements must be guided by ethical considerations to prevent misuse. 8. Encouraging philanthropy with accountability. While philanthropy plays a significant role in addressing societal challenges, it must be transparent and driven by genuine intent. Encouraging philanthropic efforts that prioritize sustainability, education, and healthcare can help alleviate disparities without perpetuating dependence on wealth. 9. Celebrating acts of courage. Recognizing and celebrating individuals who choose ethics over wealth inspires others to follow suit. Whether it's a whistleblower exposing corruption or a business leader prioritizing sustainability, these stories remind us that integrity can prevail even in a materialistic world. 10. A collective responsibility. Building. A society where money cannot buy everything requires collective effort. Governments, institutions, and individuals must work together to dismantle systems that prioritize wealth over humanity. Change begins with small actions, and together, these can transform entire societies. Conclusion: the journey toward a world where money holds less power over values is not without challenges, but it is a vision worth pursuing. By redefining success, fostering ethical practices, and amplifying the voices of truth, we can create a society where justice and humanity take precedence over wealth. Together, we can ensure that the true worth of a person is measured by their character, not their bank account. Chapter 10. With a voice of truth that will never be silenced. As we conclude this exploration into the complex interplay between money, power, and ethics, one truth emerges. While wealth may dominate for a time, the voice of truth is enduring and indomitable. This final chapter is a call to action for those who believe in justice, equality, and the sanctity of human values. 1. The resilience of truth. History has shown that truth, no matter how suppressed, eventually rises to the surface. From the civil rights movements to whistleblowers exposing corporate corruption, the courage of individuals to stand by the truth has changed the course of history. These examples remind us that truth cannot be extinguished. It only waits for champions to carry it forward. 2. Defending integrity. Amid adversity. In a world dominated by wealth, maintaining integrity can feel like an uphill battle. However, individuals who prioritize ethics over convenience inspire others to do the same. Integrity may not always bring immediate rewards, but it builds a legacy of respect, trust, and authenticity that money cannot buy. 3. Empowering the marginalized. Those silenced by the power of wealth often belong to the most vulnerable segments of society. By supporting initiatives that amplify their voices through education, advocacy, and financial empowerment, we can challenge the systemic inequalities that allow wealth to dictate the truth. 4. Encouraging collective action change is rarely achieved in isolation. Communities, organizations, and movements must unite to counter the corrupting influence of wealth. Through peaceful protests, legislative reforms, and public awareness campaigns, collective action can dismantle unjust systems and pave the way for a more equitable society. 5. The role of technology. Technology has become a double-edged sword, capable of spreading both misinformation and truth. By leveraging digital platforms responsibly, individuals can share stories of resilience, expose corruption, and rally support for just causes. Technology, when used ethically, becomes a powerful tool in the fight for truth. 6. Inspiring future generations. The fight for justice is a marathon, not a sprint. By instilling values of honesty, empathy, and courage in the next generation, we ensure that the battle against the dominance of wealth continues. Parents, educators, and leaders must lead by example, demonstrating that standing for truth is always the right choice. 7. A vision for a just world. Imagining a world where truth and justice prevail over wealth may seem idealistic, but it is a vision worth pursuing. A society where success is measured by integrity, where voices are valued equally regardless of economic status, and where humanity triumphs over greed is not only possible, it is necessary. Conclusion. Carrying the torch of truth. This chapter, and indeed this entire exploration, serves as a reminder that truth is a force that transcends material wealth. It is a call for courage in the face of adversity, for empathy in the face of greed, and for persistence in the pursuit of justice. The journey will not be easy, but the rewards, a society rooted in fairness, compassion, and integrity, are immeasurable. Let us each carry the torch of truth, ensuring that its light never fades, no matter how powerful the shadows of wealth may seem. Truth will always find a way.